meeting of the Newburgh Large City School District. I am Ray Bergarelli, the chair. We also have board member or committee member John DeRay, our clerk, whose name is Matthew McCoy. Thank you very much. Ben Gawker and Stephanie Monsanto. All right, take it away, Ben.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. We have a few things on the agenda. We'll begin with the director's report. I'll highlight a few things and then happy to answer any questions that you might have. Particularly wanted to highlight the new state minimum standards that were recently approved, as some of the policies that we'll be reviewing tonight have been revised based on some of the recommendations at the state and system level. So the state has expanded the written policies within the minimum standards to include public usage of library space and meeting rooms, selection of library materials, codes of conduct, confidentiality of library records, personnel policies, disaster preparedness, and financial control policies. A lot of these we already have on the books. Some of them we needed to revisit, and so 3 of them, confidentiality of library records, the public use or selection of library, not selection of library materials, excuse me, request for reconsideration form, and library cards and lending, which is circulation, will be addressed. But more of these will be coming up for your review throughout the year. We have to have all of these approved by January. The other thing I wanted to highlight, we have our summer reading kickoff July 6th. Last summer we registered about 350 people for summer reading, which is about 120 more than the year prior. We're hoping to do even better this year. We're going to have a big kickoff on July 6th with food trucks, performers, activities, and opportunities for patrons to register. Something else we're really excited about, we've been in conversation for the last month and a half with the Newburgh Armory Unity Center, and we're going to pilot a baby library there. With funding and support from the Armory, we will have a small collection of early literacy children's books that our library will manage the circulation of, and we'll be signing people up for library cards during some of the programming we're doing at the Armory during the week. So this is a baby step, so to speak, in creating another branch annex, library, or location at the Armory. I'll go into more depth with it later with the capital projects. The local history workroom should begin in September and finish up in February. But I'll go into more depth about that project as well as the master plan. If there are any questions on the director's report, I'm happy to answer them.
John?
No, just a comment. That's pretty impressive on the Armory. Thank you.
Agreed.
Yeah, we're really excited about the Armory, and they've been a pleasure to work with. So I think it's just going to provide services to the community where right now there are limited services. Next, we have the annual report review. Every year, we have to file our annual report with the state. This year, the review's coming a little bit later than normal. The data software for the state, the company that ran it, Baker & Taylor, went bankrupt, and so the state had to find a new data collection software, so it pushed the reporting back. Typically, we would probably review this in February, but we're doing it now in June. If there are any questions on the annual report as submitted, I'm happy to answer them.
John, anything? No.
Okay, all right. Next up, we have the Central Library Plan of Service. Again, this is in keeping with state regulations. Every 5 years, we have to submit in conversation with Ramapo Catskill Library System our Central Library Plan of Service, being the Central Library of RCLS. You can see there are 4 objectives here. Most of them pertain to resource sharing, professional development, things of that nature. If there are any questions about the Central Library Plan of Service as submitted, I'm happy to answer.
Okay. With the digital resource management, that's all held on servers, whoever owns the media rights to that, right? We don't keep anything internal over here as far as...
That's right. And I know I've spoken to you, to the committee about this in the past. A lot of the work we're trying to do is to push for more fair and sustainable ebook licensing terms. So what we've done here in this digital resource management is just outline that as a central library, we're going to be looking for the most cost-effective system-wide digital collection solutions, so that we won't just blindly be paying these escalating costs, but that it'll have to go through, whether it's the Directors Association or System Services Committee at the system level, to have a discussion about how we're spending this money, because as it is now, as the costs are now, they're unsustainable. So now it's codified in our plan of service.
And there hasn't been any kind of breakthrough, any kind of give anywhere, huh?
There hasn't. We have, our ebook working group within the state is continuing to work with all the 23 library systems across the state to try to just kind of march in lockstep to present a unified front when it comes to dealing with Overdrive, which is the dominant ebook platform, as well as the publishers. But no breakthroughs yet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up for review is the RCLS Plan of Service, also for 2027 to 2031. This plan goes out to member library boards for review and approval. If there are any questions on RCLS's Plan of Service, I'm happy to speak to that as well.
No, sir.
And as with RCLS Plan of Service, we also have the RCLS Free Direct Access Plan, also covering the same 5-year period. Again, this is to meet state regulations, submitting a free direct access plan along with a plan of service. If there's any questions about this, I'm happy to address them.
No?
Nope.
Good. Sir?
The plan of service and the direct access plan need board approval as well, so.
That's
those
right.
will be on the next board agenda.
They'll move forward to the board. Correct. Yeah. Next, we have some policies for your review. These have been looked over by the district lawyer. Some of them, just some minor revisions. And on the policies, I've also included the rationale, explanation for the policy revision. And as you look through it, you can see the track changes where language has been changed, added or amended. The confidentiality of library and patron records. This is an expansion of the policy that we have on the books from 2005, I believe, or 2008. And that policy really was just the New York State CPLR law 4509, but we've expanded it with a little bit more language, not only about the kinds of patron record confidentiality that we preserve, but also security cameras, our record retention and disposition, which will follow the schedule for New York Local Government Records, LGS1, what we do in terms of law enforcement requests, our public computers and wireless networks, working with third-party vendors, and how we will train our staff on these privacy and confidentiality concerns. If there's any questions on that policy, I'm happy to answer them. No? All right. Another one is the request for reconsideration of library resources. Now, this was recently created and approved by the board in 2025. We've been attending some trainings with the new state minimum standard in place, and we are putting in some recommendations from the state and the system just to fine tune these. Really, some of the major things here, what you're seeing in the American Library Association State of the Libraries in 2025 report was that about 93% of challenges came from outside political organizations and not patrons in the communities that the library served. So what the new language in this policy does is specify that only a Newburgh Free Library card holder in good standing may bring a request for reconsideration to the library. And it also, in terms of foundational documents we would look to in making a determination of reconsideration, we've added the New York State Education Department's Freedom to Read guidance there. And I know the Freedom to Read bill just passed the Senate with support from Senator Rollison, and that lays out the requirements for school libraries specifically. But the request for reconsideration here is how we as a public library would handle these requests for reconsideration. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Nope.
Just quickly, you said the American Library Association, when they're tracking the request for reconsideration, over 90% external. What have we seen here in our library personally?
I mean, really very few requests for reconsideration of any kind.
And are they from the outside? Or?
No, they're from individuals with, yeah. So, but it's something you just want to get ahead of, for sure. All right, we have a library cards and lending policy. This one we're changing to do away with any age mandate. So basically when you're born, you can get a library card. And this is to help facilitate our new baby library at the Armory. We really just want to encourage families to sign up for library cards right away. So if you have a new baby, sign up, come to the Armory, check out some of our new early literacy books there. So that was the major revision with that policy. Any questions on that? No? All right. The next two are new. We have authorized use of library-owned materials and equipment. This one mirrors the district, similar district policy, but we made this library-specific, just to be clear about what staff can and cannot use, whether it's within the scope of their job or for personal use, which would not be allowed. So we hadn't had a policy like this, and we felt like we had the need to add it. Any questions on that?
No, but the clarification is important. Thank you.
Yeah, clarification is very important. And the last one is our video surveillance policy. We do rely on video surveillance to keep the library property safe and to keep the public and staff safe as well. And we had not had a policy on the books. And so again, for clarity's sake, we wanted to address that and provide a policy for the public. Any questions on that? Okay. So lastly, just wanted to give you a brief update and discussion, if any, about our capital project and then our strategic planning that we're going to have to undertake and have approved by January 1st. So the capital project update, Stephanie and I met with CS Arch yesterday to review both the completion of the local history workroom project and to discuss next steps in the master plan library renovation project. A preliminary schedule for the local history workroom project has been created with a start time slated to begin in early September and close out by mid-February. Reports to the state must be filed by the end of June, as there will be no further extensions on the State Department of Library Development grant. Dr. Manning Campbell recently signed off on the contract with Iron Sword, the contractor in charge of the project, and so we should be moving from the preliminary schedule to a detailed work schedule in short order. In discussing the master plan project, we will be hosting CS Arch here in July to begin conducting observations and conversations with staff that will lead to redesigning some of the elements of the proposed renovation work that has already been drafted. This is for the entire library. We have asked CS Arch to help in creating a new cost estimate for the project, given that the initial estimates were all made prior to COVID, I believe in 2017, and we are likely to see significant cost escalations. Once preliminary redesign work is done, CS Arch has recommended we work with a construction manager to assist in overseeing the project, given its size and impact on operations. In our conversations, we also discussed the possibility of phasing the work so we could maintain services at this location throughout the project, but also discussed relocating the library during the construction project. Whichever way we go, this decision will impact the overall budget of the project and is worthy of our discussion. Once master planning is completed and a new cost estimate is in hand, we will need to determine the best path forward in terms of financing the project. I would like to explore bonding the project with an eye towards holding a vote next May. Any questions on the capital project update?
No, sir, thank you.
Have we already started looking at spaces if we decided to phase it or, host remotely?
I've had some, sort of casual conversations with some people in the community about relocating the library. So there would be options out there, but I think we'd have to, if we're to move, and I'll just tell you, the Kingston Library, they just approved a $14 million bond a few years ago. They moved their entire library to an old school building. They've been there for about 3 years while they redo their library. So we'd have to identify a space that's large enough. There are library moving companies that deal just with moving whole libraries. You have to build that into the project cost. I think we could find someone we could work with to relocate if we had to. I won't name any names right now, but yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else on that? No? Strategic planning. As mentioned at the last committee meeting, we are required by state regulation to have a new long-range plan in place by January of 2027. We have reached out to several consultants to inquire about availability to help guide us through this process. Before embarking on this path, however, we would like to convene a planning committee made up of staff, community members, and board members. We'd like to have at least one or perhaps all library committee members serve on this planning committee with initial meetings to begin later this summer. So I know the makeup of the committee is still up in the air, but we definitely want involvement from the board with this planning process. Any questions on that?
No, we're good.
All right, well, that's all I have. So unless there's anything else.
Nope.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.